Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Blind Squirrel Talk, famous in a small town. I'm Lulu.
I'm Kim.
And I'm Reese.
Yay! This is Reese.
Yeah.
And you have a great name. I love
know.
that
Love
name.
his
Is it a
name.
family name?
So actually, my mom, her granddad had a best friend. His name was Reese, and so she always liked him, so she named me Reese. So
I love it.
Yeah.
My nephew's middle name is Reese.
Oh, okay.
But no family, story.
I got you.
So, Reese, you are, I know you aren't going to believe this because Kim and I could not believe it,
Yeah.
but Reese is in high school, and you go to school where?
So I'm a senior at East Jackson High School, but I also attend the Empower College and Career Center. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And you will graduate this year.
Yeah, I will be graduating May 17th, so not too long.
Now, I met Reese when he was this tall.
Yeah.
6, 7?
No, maybe
Yeah, because I probably would have been about third grade or so.
Yeah.
9.
Yeah.
So tell him that story. Tell Kim and I that story.
So, let's start off from the beginning. So, from a young age, I was always really interested in antiques and things like that. So, there used to be Jerry's Antique Store, which is actually just right below us. And I just used to go over there and talk to them all the time. I enjoyed getting to haggle with them. I enjoyed getting to see all the neat things. And so, and I happened to, I don't remember, but I know you remember meeting me, and I just always enjoyed the antiques. I actually have an antique booth that's just right next door at the Maysville Mercantile, so if y'all want to go check that out, feel free to. So, yeah.
So you have a booth at the Maysville Mercantile, and what else do you do other than going to school? That's a full-time job.
Oh, it's a full-time job for an hour and a half of the day. So I'm actually the president of my FFA chapter. I work for 2 different estate sale companies. I'll just mention their names on here. So I work for Aaron Trammell at Prestige Auctions and Estate Sales, and I work for Perry Benson with Benson Estate Sales. So, yeah.
So you stay busy.
I try to. Keep myself busy, finding all the neat things for the booth at the estate sales. You just never know what you're going to run across,
That's my favorite, finding junk or something that...
I know,
And I like
yeah.
repurposing
Yeah.
things that you find. Also, you're waiting to get your acceptance letter to UGA.
Yes.
Go Dogs.
Yeah, March 17th. I about said May. But
And what will you be studying?
So my plan is to study avian biology. So not that y'all asked, but I'm just going to go ahead and tell you anyways. So I actually got to participate in a poultry evaluation at the national level for FFA. And so that was about 2 years ago, and I got to talk to a lot of professors at UGA, a lot of recruiters, and I just decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go and become an avian veterinarian. It's our #1, commodity in Georgia, for some of y'all that might not know that. So Gainesville is actually the poultry capital of the world. So I just decided, you know what? I want to try to help out, the people around Georgia and become an avian veterinarian. So,
And what does that entail?
So it entails a lot of lab work. So a lot of y'all might know about the avian flu and things like that. I would almost be the one that would be in charge of solving that issue, doing lab tests, medicines, different things like that. So yeah.
So we would blame you for the high price of eggs.
Just maybe. Can't never tell.
Okay, as a high school senior, think about your senior year. That's exciting. You have so much going on. But how do you juggle having booths, working estate sales, being the president of the FFA, doing applications, figuring out what your career is going to be?
So, I go by the saying, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. I enjoy doing the antiques. I enjoy doing the estate sales. It's truly a labor of love. There's some nights I don't get home till 10, 11 o'clock at night working at the estate sales. I love it so much, and I love being able to do the antique booth, and I just, my future plan one day is maybe to even open up my own antique store. I love fine art, really nice 17th, 18th century furniture. I love all the nice old antiques and things like that. I think sometimes, in school and things like that, we're told, okay, well, you got to do college and you got to get a job and you got to do all these things, but, we all don't have to go down that path and we all don't have to do that, through high school, I think we're always so focused on school, and that's fantastic and that's great, but, we need to focus on what we're going to do in the future, find our hobbies that we're interested in. Just because you're young doesn't mean that you can't become an entrepreneur or you can't do things that are going to really, truly impact the world in the future, so... That's kind of how I feel about it.
Your parents must be extremely proud.
Oh, I think they surely are. They're sometimes dumbfounded, depending on, they're like, oh, well, you just went to an antique store and bought all this stuff. Why'd you buy it? And I'd be like, well, I'm going to go flip it and make me some money. So,
If you don't mind me asking, what do your folks do?
So my dad is actually a truck driver, and then my mom, she works at an insurance company, and she's a commercial insurance agent.
Ooh, I need to talk to her.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
you-
but yeah.
I'm just so
Yeah.
happy to see a young person
I know.
so put together.
Yeah.
Okay, talking about his family, a little birdie told me that your great-grandfather
Yes.
opened the gas station in front of Lyle's Speed Shop in 1966.
Yes.
Tell us
so,
about that.
I didn't ever get to meet him. So my great-great-grandfather was Doyle Hooper. He actually opened up the service station, as Lily was saying, right down the road. So I actually, you'll see a little newspaper clipping that I got to send to her of him being featured in the newspaper. So yeah, it's just, I love history. I love the antiques. I love all the things. So just being able to be a part of Maysville, is just a great thing.
When do you first remember being in Maysville? Like, what are your first memories of Maysville? Was it the festival? Was it coming to Jerry's?
So probably one of my first memories of Maysville. So I went to Maysville Elementary School, but I also went to the parade from a young age. My mom and her best friend Terry, they just always used to bring me to the parade. I always got to go ride in Scott Harper that has the coin shop. His daughter Terry and my mom were best friends, so I used to go get to ride in his T-model Ford and everything when he was going through the parade and everything else. So that's probably one of my first memories, getting to do that. So.
Wow.
Oh, that is just so nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell on you. He would be down, and you probably don't remember because you were so young. He'd be in Jerry's, and he would look through everything. I mean, it was very methodical. He would look at everything that Jerry had, and he'd go back, and he'd pick some things up, and go put it on his desk, pick a few things up, and then he would beat Jerry down on the price. I mean, he was good. He was good. You were good.
I mean, you have to be. I mean, if you're going to make a profit and you're trying to make money in, today's world and trying to do that, I mean, you just have to be a good haggler. I mean, honestly, my bosses say the same thing. They're like, darn, Reece, you work for us and we're already doing your 50% off. Why are you going to haggle us more? I was like, well, I got to make a profit, So,
I learned from y'all.
yeah, I learned from them, So, yeah.
How long have you been in the estate sale business?
So I got the opportunity. I used to work as a caregiver, and the lady I was looking after unfortunately went to the hospital, and she dealt with some other health issues. So I had met the first lady I started working for, Erin Trammell. I met her in the antique store when I used to have a booth at Time After Time in downtown Commerce, and so I got to talking to her, and she was telling me about the estate sales, and she was bringing up some pictures, and I was like, oh, I think I would love to do that. So, I don't know, it was probably about mid-April or so, and I went and worked my first estate sale in Houston, and I just absolutely loved it. I loved the art of haggling. I love getting to talk to people. I love making deals, and I was like, this is like what I enjoy doing. I want to do this throughout high school. I'll probably do it throughout college. It's just like a true passion of mine. So.
Yeah, you're lucky you found your passion at a young age.
I know.
And we need to back up.
Yeah.
What 17 or 18-year-old boy is a caregiver?
Yeah. So, I kind of got into it. It was by accident. My stepdad, his mom, which was my step-grandmother, I guess, she was having issues finding somebody to help out, and I was wanting some extra work so I could go and buy all the antiques and things like that, and I had just opened up my booth in February, and so I was like, I need to make some extra money on the side and everything, so I got to help out this great lady, Elaine Gowder. She's this really, really sweet lady. I love getting to talk to older people and things like that, and hearing all the experiences that they go through. I have my great-great aunt, Betty Jo, and I get to go talk to her at her house a ton, and she tells me all the family history and growing up in Commerce, and she actually went to the first Maysville Festival that they had back in 1957, and she showed me a cast iron pan that she still had from the first Maysville Festival.
Oh my gosh.
goodness.
So my family, is, a lot of them are all from around here, from Nicholson, Jefferson, Maysville, Commerce, things like that. So I just, I've always had a passion for history. I've always had a passion, like Lindsay talking about her passion for elderly people and older people. I've always had a passion for, hearing all that they have to say, because, they've lived it, so they can tell you everything they know.
And it's a shame because a lot of young people just overlook older people.
They
Yeah.
do.
Oh, they're old, they don't know what they're
Have you
talking
eaten
about.
at Lindsay's?
I have. I actually went to the grand opening. We did an estate sale consultation. We were having lunch with a client, and I was like, why don't we go eat at Lindsay's? They're having the grand opening today. So I got to go, and her food is amazing. So if y'all haven't tried it, go check it
Yes.
out. I got to have lunch a couple times, and it's great. And dinner's great, too. So.
And the desserts are divine.
Oh my gosh, I love it. It's one of the best restaurants around, in my opinion. It's just in little old Maysville. So
Like, who would think that was here?
I know, like nobody would know. But I mean,
So you know now.
yeah, you know now, so come and check it out.
And if you have a chance to get the Sunday stew,
Sunday
God.
grapes, Sunday
I
grapes.
haven't had it yet. I'm gonna have to try it out.
oh,
Yeah.
Don't,
That's
because
her.
you
That's
won't be the
her
same.
trademark
God.
dish.
Is that
I
one?
think.
Is
Yeah.
that a trademark dish?
Oh, it is?
It should be.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Oh Lord, her chicken salad croissants. I had one last week. They were amazing. They're so good. She's an amazing cook. I mean, I've never had anything like that.
And she's a nice lady.
she's
too.
a very sweet lady.
Yeah. Good heart.
Yeah.
Good, kind heart.
Just like all the people in Maysville.
Just like you.
Yeah, thank
Just
you.
like you. All right, so you're going to graduate, and I understand you're going to Italy to learn some things. Tell us about that trip.
Yes, so I have had the amazing opportunity. We are going to learn about agriculture with FFA in northern Italy. And so my whole spring break, I get to go and learn about agriculture. We actually get to do a cooking class in Italy and learn about how to cook. We're going to learn about all kinds of things. We're going to go to the south of France and get to visit like a perfume factory and see how they do all that. We're going to get to go to Monaco for a day. So, I mean, I think it'll be a great time. I like to have all those new experiences and things like that.
That's an experience of a lifetime.
Yes.
It surely is.
How many kids going?
Around 20 or so.
Wow.
So, yeah. It'll be a great experience. I've had some people help me along the way, but I mainly paid for it myself through working the estate sales and getting to go on those. And yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you.
I know. Thank you so much.
You've accomplished so much in such a, short period of time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look forward to hearing about your adventures,
I
you
know.
know, in your coming years, the next
Yeah.
decade, 2 decades,
Yeah, I know. I hope to.
if I'm still around.
Oh, I'm sure you will be. 120, right?
I hope so.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I hope to, being an avian vet, I hope to be able to do that and be, I would love to live in a historic house, maybe even in Maysville. I'm really into keeping everything original and trying to keep everything historically preserved because a lot of people really don't appreciate those things. I hope to have an older house, and I would love to open up an antique store. There's one of my favorite antique stores. It's called the Rock House, and I actually applied for another booth out there, and it's in Greenville, and they have a lot
Greenville,
of
South Carolina?
Greenville, South Carolina, and they have some really nice fine antiques and things like that. So I love the whole idea of having fine antiques in a store because I feel like you either have to go to Greenville or you have to go to, Atlanta or something like that. And I would love to open up maybe something like that around here. I
Show
think that'd be
people the
great.
finer things
The
in
finer
life.
things,
Yes.
for sure.
And Greenville's much easier to get to than Atlanta.
Oh yeah, I love the drive to Greenville and things like that.
And downtown Greenville is hopping.
I know it is.
So cute.
It's beautiful.
I actually got to go out there for my birthday. My aunt took me out there and everything, and we went and had lunch at a steakhouse, and we got to I wanted to go to the antique shop and everything, and I bought me a couple things. So.
To flip or to keep?
Oh, actually to keep. Those things they're a little pricey, so I was just, I just like them, and I got a little bronze statue, and I got a vase, and what was the other thing I got? I don't remember right off the top of my head, but yeah, I got those 2 things, and I just love everything that was in there. So I would like to have something like that of my own one day.
I believe you will.
Mhm, I
I
think
really
so.
hope so.
And when people find those treasures, like when they buy some of your things,
Yeah.
you've brought a little bit of happiness to them through
Oh yeah.
that
Yeah.
treasure.
What's so neat is I remember there was a lady, I don't remember what her name was. I don't remember exactly, but I got to talk to her, and she was telling me a little bit about her son who had passed away, and she was looking for some things in a booth, and I actually still have her phone number, and I was showing her some things in my booth, and I probably talked to her an hour, and it was when I was in commerce, and I just, being able to talk to those people, you don't realize just being able to sit down and talk to them and them sharing their memories, like, oh, that item, my mom used to have that. You don't realize how much comfort that brings somebody just by, opening.
You could start your own estate sale company.
Oh, I probably could. My bosses have both told me that, so.
Well, he
So
probably
you never
will.
know.
He probably will.
You never know.
Yeah.
So I'd love to do that. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
So FFA. So let me start. It stands for Future Farmers of America. I'm personally not a farmer, but I enjoy doing it. I think truthfully, I talk about, oh, well, I enjoy all these things. I don't think I would have ever been able to get out of my comfort zone if it wasn't for that. I'm the president of my chapter. We do a lot of public speaking events. I actually just qualified for the state contest in my ag education CDE, which is a career development event. So basically, you get up there and you teach a lesson plan, and I talked about poultry parts and things like that. So I reckon it goes along with me wanting to be an avian veterinarian. So, my ag teachers are great. They always lift you up. They always talk about just go out there and just put yourself out there. Go and do that public speaking event. Go and talk to those people. I mean, the worst you can do is be embarrassed for 5 seconds. I mean, and go on about your day. So I think truly, FFA has, definitely helped me in preparing myself for my future journeys and things like that.
So it sounds like throughout your life, you've had some really good mentors.
I definitely have. Heck, I mean, my ag teachers, both of my bosses with the estate sales, they're probably over there blushing as they're watching this now. I mean,
I would be.
I've had some
I'd be
amazing.
like, that's my boy.
I know my mom. She's a great mentor. She truly. I mean, she's my rock. So, she's always willing to support me in whatever I do, whatever venture. She might say, "Oh, you spent too much money at that antique store," but then she sees me flip it, and she's like, "Oh, you know what you're doing," and then I'm trying to think of who else. So even Angela down here at the antique store, I go down there. I'll go down there and eat lunch with her and things like that.
You're an old soul.
I know.
Yeah.
I just, I just love hanging out with people. I can go hang out at the antique store for days if I wanted to. I just love the stories that everybody's got to tell, and I like talking to people. And you never know who you're going to network or connect with. Like even the other day at Lindsay's, I happened to see one of my friends, Jessica, who's over downtown commerce and everything, and I got to see her and got to talk to her for a little bit. I hadn't seen her in a while. I was on a leadership team with the Chamber of Commerce, and I hadn't seen her in forever. And so I was like, that was a great little networking thing, and being able to talk to her and other things like that.
So what is work-based learning? Did you know what that is?
So
I know when I was in high school, you could, if you had your credits, I guess, you could have a job, so you wouldn't have to be there the whole time.
Yeah.
In the afternoon, maybe, or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think it was called work-based learning, but.
So basically, work-based learning, I have 3 periods of it. So I go to school from 8 to 9:30, and I do my biology class, and then I leave there, and I just, I go work the estate sales. I go to consultations. I go to prep for the estate sales. I go help run the estate sale. It just really depends. Basically, but work-based learning is just a program for you to, if you enjoy doing that job or something like that, you can go and do that, rather than go to school. So you're really getting those hands-on experiences with, people out in the public. I mean, because you really need those because, school is great, but, if you can't go and hold up a simple conversation with somebody, it's not going to do you much good,
Right.
So.
Well, I have a question for you that we tend to ask everybody that's on here. Since you hang out in Maysville a fair amount, what would you like to see here as we improve the city?
Truthfully, Maysville, I think Maysville has a lot of potential. I think, given the right businesses, I would love to see some business growth. Heck, I might even want to open up my own antique store here one day.
There you go.
I think it'd be neat. Like one of my bosses was talking to me about maybe like an auction or something, because she's an auctioneer, and she was like, oh, wouldn't it be neat if we had like a antique store and like a little auction or something like that? I would love to I would love to see Maysville grow business-wise. I would like people to move to Maysville and realize, oh, Maysville's a cool little town, I love downtown Monroe and all the businesses.
Me too.
I mean, it's beautiful. And I would love, Maysville to get to that point. I still want the small town feel, but I want it to, be beautiful and, have all that development and
Clean up.
I would just love to see Maysville thrive, as a community. So, and
That's
I think it truly has the potential.
No, it does.
Yeah, but yeah,
We have great historic buildings here,
I know,
and so much could be done with them.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of pretty places in Maysville, a lot of pretty houses. I've had the pleasure to get to see a lot of people's, houses and things like that. So that's why it makes me, I want a historic house. I want a house with character. I don't want one of these cookie cutter houses that everybody else has, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
Kim's
my
a real estate agent, so when you get
okay.
ready,
Yes.
Yeah, there we
yes.
go.
Call
I'll
me.
make sure to contact you. Yeah.
Speaking of old, I believe my house is the oldest one in the city of Maysville. It's 201 this year.
Oh, okay. So tell us a little bit about it. Like, do you know I know now I'm interviewing you, but yeah.
I only know so much
Yeah.
from the old timers that live here that have heard from their parents, but it was built in 1823. It's a farmhouse on a little over 2 acres.
Okay.
I haven't heard any stories per se, although we did have an in-ground pool, first one in this area in northeast Georgia in our backyard, but the previous owners filled it in.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it's got some, it originally had an outhouse, so there were no bathrooms. The bathrooms that they put in when we bought it were like wet closets in tiny little closets. There was a drain in the floor and the toilet, so you sat on the toilet while you showered. I mean, it was literally like this big. So we added real bathrooms.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, so it's a neat place. You'll enjoy it. And I did hear one story I did hear is that there was a boarding house upstairs. There are actually still the bunks up there.
Wow.
That people stayed in. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And I also did hear that my driveway was the original road coming through Maysville.
I've heard that a lot too.
Yeah.
So it's
really cool.
It's neat. I wish I knew more about it because you can tell you walk in there and gosh, if I
Just get a feel.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you'll have to tell me your address or whatever of your house or something. I might know somebody who might know something.
I will.
You ever know?
I will.
I might have a family member or something that might know something.
Well, that's true because you're related to the.
Yeah, I'm related to some Minishes. So my mom's last maiden name is actually Minish. So my grandfather is Casey Minish, and so him and his parents, they were always in Maysville. His great-grandparents were always in Maysville. I'm related to, as I said before, Doyle Hooper. So I'm related to some Hoopers in Maysville and things like that. So
Interesting. One thing I did, older gentleman off Sim Street, he gave me a receipt from the bank that was here in Maysville. It was for the mortgage on my property, and it was $4. $4.
$4. I wish it was $4. Like,
Yeah, but it said mortgage payment, 48 Homer Street.
Yeah.
$4.
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
that is
wow.
neat. What year was that?
Oh gosh,
Do you remember?
I think it was in like 1860 something.
Well, that was big money though.
Yeah, I mean that would have been probably right after the Civil War or during it. So I mean,
One thing cool about my
Yeah.
place is that the property with the house and the park property was all one, and the sisters who owned it donated it to the city or sold it very inexpensively.
Yeah.
And they sectioned off the house, and the young man that we bought the house from, he wanted to renovate it, but just really didn't know what he was biting off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I got
so
you.
yeah, pretty cool. They actually built my house and then the house next door to it, where Catherine and Jeff live. So the first house was a house. The second house was much more grand.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but
Yeah.
I bet you could go in her house and like look at the molding or some of the stuff in it. And
I could probably tell you a lot. I mean, I try to teach myself a lot about historic houses, and I know a lot of people that have historic houses that I've got to see. So, I try to educate myself. It's really I enjoy, like, I want to go and become an avian veterinarian, but I also have a passion for history as well and antiques and things like that. So,
I bet you'll do it all.
oh, I
have
will
a
do it
feeling.
all. I have no reason not to. Might as well not be boring. Yeah, but yeah,
amazing.
I have just enjoyed this.
I've enjoyed it too. Y'all been great hosts.
Now you have to promise that you're gonna, when you get back from, when you finish your graduation and getting back from Italy, and you've got to come, and by then you'll be accepted into UGA.
Yeah,
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Hope so.
And let us know what
Yeah.
let us know what Italy was like. Take pictures for us.
Yeah.
Um,
And we'll have to put them, you know, we'll have to do a
put
little
'em on the
podcast
screen.
and
Yes,
everything.
yes.
Please.
I will do that.
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk Italy history. You
Yeah.
can come back.
Why
and-
not? I
yeah.
can educate y'all about all of it.
I love
Why
it.
not?
I love it. Yeah.
Yes, I would love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah.
You have been absolutely
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, I have chills.
Me
Yeah.
too.
And I just want to remind you, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then.
That's my line. You're so sweet.
Yeah.
You are awesome.
But
Well,
yeah.
y'all, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, we appreciate y'all tuning into
Yeah.
this great episode of Blind Squirrel Talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, I'm Lulu.
I'm Kim.
And I'm Reece. Thank y'all so much.
We're going to have Reece back again.
Yeah, sounds good.
We'll see y'all
Thank
next
y'all.
time.
Bye.
Bye.